All right, let's get it rolling, people. Welcome back, I say, to what's already being called the most important podcast in American history, and probably human history, if we're being honest. It's me, your host, your leader, your undefeated gaming champion, Donald J. Trump, and this is the Presidential Podcast, Episode 2, the sequel that nobody asked for, but everyone secretly needed. If Episode 1 was the Oregon Trail of podcasts, bloody, unstable, and full of oxen-shaped trauma, this episode's going to be a nuclear-powered roller coaster through the GameStop of destiny.
Wow, you really know how to set a tone, huh?
Of course I do, Barack. I set many tones. Tremendous tones. I am the Beethoven of podcast intros. And today's theme is gaming. That's right. We're talking consoles. We're making up video games that should definitely exist. And yes, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, the next-gen handheld device that I'm 90% sure is powered by alien tech and pure nostalgia fumes.
Is this the ice cream episode? It's about time.
Shh. We'll get to that, Sleepy. You'll have your moment. Probably when you drift off mid-sentence and start muttering about talking cows and Spider-Man again.
And joining us today, straight out of Texas, lover of pretzels and confused press conferences, a man whose presidency was like a sitcom written by raccoons, George W. Bush.
Howdy, folks. Glad to be here. I brought a GameCube controller and a can of Monster. Let's make some magic, or at the very least, some noise.
Excellent. We've got the full gang here, me, the fossil, the monkey, the guy who thinks Minecraft is a type of corn, and George W. Bleeping Bush. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. We better keep this tight. The runtime may say an hour and a half, but let's be honest. Once Joe falls asleep and starts breathing into the mic like a haunted harmonica, the Democrats are going to leave. And when that happens, guess what? I'm sending out backup invites to Kid Rock, Roseanne Barr, Charlie Kirk, and Aiden Ross. We'll turn this podcast into a culture war buffet real fast.
Donald, come on. Can we not go full clown car 5 minutes in? Can we just once have an episode where you don't insult half the country and threaten to summon Twitter in human form?
I'm just stating facts, pure facts. Let's take a look at your recent party lineup, shall we? Last 3 Democrat presidents, a pervert, you know who I mean, a monkey, and a fossil. I'm not naming names, but I absolutely am implying names.
Hey, I'm right here, and I may be a fossil, but I'm a shiny one.
Okay, we're switching topics now before this turns into a live-streamed collapse of American civility. Let's focus on today's episode. We're going to talk about the consoles that defined our childhoods, the imaginary games that deserve to exist, and yes, the full rundown on Switch 2. But later. Not yet. First, a bit of context, because you people need to understand the stress I'm under just to be here.
Oh, here we go. Cue the Netflix docu-narration.
I am currently in my basement. Not just any basement. My emergency podcast bunker. Because right now, my Martha's Vineyard mansion is surrounded by Avengers. Literal Avengers. I've got Thor stationed on the roof, Hawkeye watching the trees, and Rocket Raccoon sniffing around the driveway like a furry TSA agent. Why? Because my ex-wife, and I say this with no malice, She-Hulk Michelle, has obtained weapons of mass destruction. I don't know how. I don't know where from, but she has them, and she's mad.
She's got nukes?
Not nukes. Worse. Emotional leverage and a mace the size of a Prius. It runs on kale juice and vengeance. It sings show tunes when she swings it.
I always knew Michael was a threat.
Michelle. Her name is Michelle. You say Michael again, and you'll wake up duct taped to a Peloton in the woods.
Weapons of mass destruction? Oh God, not again. This feels familiar. I'm getting flashbacks. I need to sit down. I am sitting down. I need to double sit down.
Relax, George. You made peace with the past. This isn't your fault. For once.
Tell that to the camel still looking for his village.
You don't see me complaining? I've got WandaVision reruns playing in the background and Tony Stark pacing around my guest room talking about AI ethics. This is the life I chose, and I'm going to podcast through it.
Well, I'm glad someone's enjoying being locked down by a rage-powered superwife. Anyway, this is what we're doing today, folks. We've got console opinions that'll melt your screen. We've got imaginary video game pitches that would make Hideo Kojima cry. And we've got Switch 2 hot takes so spicy, they make Joy-Con drift look like a design feature.
But not yet. First we breathe, then we brainstorm, and then we unleash chaos.
I hope my game idea involves a train that delivers soup to dinosaurs. That's the vibe I'm feeling.
That's not a vibe, Joe. That's a medical condition. But before we get into building the single greatest game idea in human civilization, we have a very special guest today. Someone I trust more than most adults. Certainly more than the entire CNN lineup combined. My granddaughter, my prodigy, the only member of my family willing to admit they know me on days ending in Y. The future face of the Trump brand, if she can survive this call without rage quitting. Kai Trump.
Hey, first things first, before anybody says anything, I'm laying ground rules. If Joe Biden says one weird thing about my toes again, I'm out. Done. Alt F4ing straight into another dimension. No second chances. I still have PTSD from playing Mario Party with him, Kokichi, and Maki. I hear dice rolls and I start seeing flashbacks.
I wasn't going to say anything. Maybe just a nice comment about her sandals. But it was going to be respectful this time. Real polite.
Respectful. Joe, you couldn't be respectful in a monastery. Last time you tried complimenting Kai, she called me crying because you spent 7 minutes describing how toes have auras like little ghosts.
And Grandpa, seriously, why am I here? Why am I doing this? You know, you could have called Baron. He's the one who's so online, he's basically a sentient Reddit post at this point. I mean, the guy hasn't seen sunlight since Fortnite Chapter 2.
Listen, I could have called Baron. I could have summoned him out of his gamer cave where he's busy arguing with strangers about the Minecraft height limit. But Kai, you, my dear, you've got something better. You've got judgment. You've got instincts. You've got the ability to hear 5 minutes of Biden's nonsense and not immediately set yourself on fire. You are the Trump we deserve. Barron, love him to death. Would have turned this entire podcast into a rant about why Kirby could beat Batman in a fist fight and we'd never recover.
I mean, he's not wrong. Kirby would definitely beat Batman.
Kirby could probably take me in a fight too. Little pink demon's scary.
So Kai's gonna be our official judge and referee. She's the one keeping score. She's the one making sure this doesn't spiral into a 3-hour therapy session about who unplugged the Sega Genesis in 1994. She's the sheriff of this gaming rodeo. And believe me, she's got no patience left for any of us.
Correct. I am one Biden toe comment away from nuking this Zoom call from orbit.
Beautiful. Now, before we dive into crafting history, we have to lay the groundwork for what makes a great video game. And the first step, the foundational step, is simple. What platform do you put it on? Where do you build your empire? Where do you unleash your chaos?
And you better think hard, because we're not just making any game here. We're making the presidential game. A game so good, so over the top, that it could be sold on a broken Game Boy Color without a screen and still outsell GTA 6.
Exactly. You could put our game on a crusty old Game & Watch found in a Waffle House parking lot, and it would break every record known to mankind. Why? Because greatness shines, even when you're using rusty D-pads and batteries that leak acid.
I once used a Game & Watch to scrape ice off my windshield. Worked like a charm.
That's the kind of American spirit I like to hear.
All right, enough posturing, enough grandstanding. Grandpa's already delivered a 15-minute opening monologue, and Biden's about 2 minutes away from thinking he's on a cooking show. We need to start.
Finally, let's see who gets the honor of opening the gates to gaming Valhalla.
I've thought long and hard about it. We need to kick things off with maximum energy. We need someone who's going to hit the ground running, maybe not with logic, maybe not with self-awareness, but with firepower.
Pick me, Kai. Pick the king. The people demand it.
Please pick Bush. I need time to mentally prepare for whatever fever dream Trump's cooked up.
I hope it's me. I've got diagrams. Crayons were involved.
I brought a napkin with my idea on it. Think it melted in my pocket, though.
All right, after serious thought, intense mental calculations, and rolling a dice in my head, I've made my choice. Grandpa, you're up first.
All right. Calm yourselves. Prepare your souls. Because what I am about to unveil will be remembered for centuries. It'll be carved into stone tablets and taught in schools. It'll make the invention of the wheel look like a participation trophy. But before I get started, before I unleash sheer genius, I'm going to need just a little bit of help. A little assistance from some friends who are absolutely qualified.
Hold on, did he seriously just leave?
He rage quit. The big fat Cheeto couldn't take the pressure. Folded like a damn lawn chair at a Delaware cookout.
Whoa, whoa, Joe. Slow down there, partner. You're getting spicy today.
Joe's got more energy than a Red Bull ad right now. What's going on?
I took my pills today, full dosage. I'm firing on all cylinders, Barack. I could punch a bear and win a Nobel Peace Prize for it.
I'm scared, and I was president during a literal swine flu pandemic.
It's simple, boys. Either Trump taps out right here and now, like the whimpering Cheeto he is, or he comes back and claims the whole thing was rigged against him the moment he starts losing to me. Because deep down, he knows the Pudding King's about to eat his lunch.
Man, when Joe's lucid, it's like listening to a tornado full of bumper stickers.
I'm back. I'm better than ever. And not only am I back, I'm back with style, with grace, with majesty. Something none of you would understand if it smacked you in the face like a golden boomerang.
Hold the hell up. Where even are you right now, Donald?
Is this some kind of Disney fever dream, or am I really seeing this?
I swear to God, he's sitting in a throne room like some kind of medieval cheese ball.
It's like if Willy Wonka and Burger King had a really angry baby.
I've seen Bond villains with humbler setups.
You're welcome, peasants. Witness true power.
Hello and welcome to what is arguably the lowest point of my professional career. My name is Ben Shapiro, and today I will begrudgingly be showcasing the superior piece of gaming hardware, the PlayStation 5, a system so finely engineered that it makes every other console look like it was assembled by raccoons on a caffeine bender. However, I have also been commanded by the great and powerful Donald Trump to provide a rundown of the newly revealed Nintendo Switch 2, which, while bigger and heavier than the original Switch, now includes magnetic Joy-Con attachments, a built-in face camera to guarantee maximum emotional destruction during multiplayer matches, a larger OLED display for better graphical fidelity, and internal storage improvements that still somehow won't be enough for Fortnite kids. Objectively speaking, it's a mediocre step forward, propped up by brand loyalty, nostalgia, and a cult-like fan base that would probably buy a cardboard box if it had a mushroom logo on it.
Ben, what the actual fuck is happening right now?
Simple explanation, Barack. Extremely simple, brutally logical. I was stalking Donald. Not metaphorically, literally following him around. Camping outside his rallies, disguised as a disgruntled Postmates driver. Ron DeSantis broke up with me again, for the third time this quarter. I'm emotionally devastated, spiritually broken, and now I'm desperately clinging to Donald's radioactive Cheeto body for a sliver of meaning, and also to spite Nikki Haley, because that would make her absolutely furious. And honestly, that's enough reason for me.
Man, I thought my life was messy, but that's like if you mix Jerry Springer and the end of Old Yeller.
Ben, brother, you need a milkshake, a therapist, and a couple months off social media.
Donald, you can't just sit there looking like King K. Rool's real estate agent and let Ben hijack your presentation. Get your fat ass off that throne and show us the damn system yourself.
Fine. If you all want the Trump show, the full Trump experience, the Vegas headliner, the deluxe package with the fireworks and the gold-plated towel service, I'll do it. Behold, the Nintendo Switch 2. It's bigger, it's better, it's bolder, it's got magnetic Joy-Cons that snap on like destiny itself, guiding your hand. It's got a built-in face cam so you can watch the pure devastation on your opponent's face when you absolutely annihilate them in Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart or whatever sad little game Barack is trying to scrape a win from. This system is bigger, it's tougher, and it's got more emotional baggage than Joe Biden trying to remember his third-grade science teacher. Kai, I know you're impressed. It's okay. You don't have to hide it. I know I'm radiant today. Like a sunset on the 4th of July, you can admit it.
Grandpa, you already said you wanted to marry your own daughter once. I'm not interested. I'm not becoming another headline in your weird alternate family tree.
Moving on swiftly, moving on with style.
That thing looks like a microwave had a kid with an eye.
Yeah, it's big, it's flashy, but it still doesn't have the horsepower of a PlayStation 5, Donald. And you know it, you're compensating harder than Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Does it have a handle? No, didn't think so. GameCube wins again. Built-in portability, baby.
Ain't beating my Game & Watch, buddy. I can lose that thing in my sock and still play a full game of ball.
Laugh now, peasants, laugh now. But the numbers will not lie. The sales charts will not lie. History will not lie. The Nintendo Switch 2 will dominate so hard, they'll have to rewrite the Guinness Book of World Records with an entire Trump-themed chapter.
Okay, Grandpa, marking you down for most likely to overcompensate with neon lights and most likely to get stuck in your own throne chair during an elevator malfunction.
Don't forget, most likely to think a Joy-Con is a tiny cheeseburger.
This man's presentation was half factual, half WWE promo, and somehow still better organized than his first campaign speech.
Thank you. I accept all applause, all adoration. No autographs right now, but yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, and I am using that word so loosely it's basically a rumor at this point. And Kai, the only actual competent soul in this digital Thunderdome, if you could all stop making random bird noises and mumbling about pudding for just 5 consecutive seconds, I would like to take this sacred moment to formally present something that actually involved preparation, intelligence, foresight, and at least 15 different frustrated sighs from me. Something that isn't just another desperate cry for help, disguised as a throne room or an emotionally broken Ben Shapiro wandering the corridors of Trump Tower crying about lost love.
What I'm hearing is a lot of jealousy, Barack, pure unfiltered rage because you didn't think of hiring a professional nerd to hold your props for you, sad.
He's just mad he didn't get the good throne, the one with the heated cushions and the Diet Coke dispenser in the armrest.
If you 3 malfunctioning Roombas are done, I will continue. Because yes, unlike some people here, I didn't just throw glitter at a camera and call it a vision. I actually spent time, real honest-to-God time, crafting a real presentation, a slideshow so powerful it could bring a tear to the eye of a hardened cynic, or at least cause mild heartburn.
I'm already giving you bonus points for effort, but I'm warning you, if this turns into a 300-slide TED Talk about hope and how Destiny 2 is the American dream, I'm muting you.
Originally, and I want you all to really absorb this, I had intended to present this majestic piece of digital architecture on a real projector screen, outdoors, with the Atlantic breeze in my hair and seagulls majestically soaring behind me like some kind of political rom-com montage moment. But unfortunately, and I really mean unfortunately in the biblical sense, there's a current red alert situation around my Martha's Vineyard mansion because my former wife, She-Hulk Michelle herself, armed now with what I can only describe as a weaponized salad shooter of mass destruction, is prowling the perimeter.
Yeah, she's patrolling all right, patrolling for that alimony check.
She's patrolling for the people still eating ice cream when they were supposed to be fixing the solar panels.
If she finds you, she's gonna drop kick you into next week, Barack. Hope you stretched.
Thus, in the spirit of survival, I have decided to simply screen share this masterpiece directly to your screens, which, considering the average brain power on this call, might be the only way you could actually stay focused for more than 7 seconds without wandering off to chase imaginary squirrels.
Sad, weak, cowardly. Would have been more impressive if you just strapped the projector to your chest like Iron Man and hoped for the best.
A projector sounds dangerous. Last time I tried one, I thought it was a microwave and melted my glove.
All right, starting screen share, and if anyone tries to hack this with bad clip art of Waluigi dabbing, I swear on everything holy, I will personally uninstall you from the internet.
Yeah, get to the part where you cry about the PlayStation logo.
Get to the part where there's pudding.
Get to the part where Grandpa Trump cries because he realizes he doesn't know how to mute his own mic.
Get to the part where there's explosions.
First slide, opening title screen, clear and simple, nice bold font, none of that Comic Sans nonsense. Why the PlayStation 5 is the only rational, logical, and spiritually correct platform for the presidential game, and also why Donald Trump should not be allowed within 10 yards of any working Joy-Con.
Defamation, pure slander. I am a Joy-Con prodigy. I move through Mario Party boards like a gazelle being chased by IRS agents.
I'm just amazed you know what a Joy-Con is and didn't call it a little TV sandwich.
I called it a tiny taser the first time I held one. Zapped myself trying to beat Mario Golf.
Slide 2. Console. Overview. The PlayStation 5. A masterstroke of engineering. A ballet of silicon and determination. A towering monolith of technological elegance that says, hey, I'm here to play games, look good doing it, and no, I don't belong next to a Walmart gumball machine.
You mean the PS5 that looks like a Wi-Fi router on steroids, that PS5?
Looks like a fancy air conditioner. Still too loud, though.
Tried to put one in my backpack, nearly slipped 2 discs.
Slide 3. Features. Adaptive triggers that make you feel every blade of grass you trample. Haptic feedback so detailed you can practically feel the despair radiating off Joe's avatar as he falls into yet another Minecraft ravine. 3D audio so immersive, it'll make you question whether you're gaming or having a religious awakening.
Sounds like sensory overload for weak people who need fancy vibrations to feel alive.
I don't need vibrations. I just need the sweet, soft hum of pudding entering my soul.
3D audio is how I found out my cat was sneaking up on me during Call of Duty.
Slide 4, Memories, the pantheon of gaming legends that blossomed under PlayStation's careful watch, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, games that told stories, stirred emotions, created heroes, unlike whatever nightmare Joe's about to suggest involving talking penguins running an IHOP.
Penguin IHOP sounds incredible, though. Unlimited pancakes, slippery floors.
I don't need emotional storytelling, I need wins. I need the cold satisfaction of first place, not sad zombies sobbing about lost love.
Metal Gear Solid taught me everything I know about hiding from responsibility.
Slide 5, why the presidential game should be on PS5, because this console was built for epic, built for legendary, built for the kind of once-in-a-century masterpiece that we, despite our combined brain power barely equaling a third grader on a sugar rush, are absolutely capable of creating if we focus, buckle down, and maybe duct tape Joe to a chair.
Or maybe you just want to slap your sad speech onto the nearest serious-looking console and pretend you had a vision.
I just want to eat pancakes with penguins, man. You're all overthinking this.
I just want to know if there's a ranch dressing gun involved.
Slide 6, online infrastructure. The PS5 has servers that actually work, lobbies that don't feel like a roulette table of sadness, and multiplayer systems that don't need you to sacrifice a goat to the Wi-Fi gods just to join a match.
Fake news. I've seen PS5 lobbies crash harder than Biden trying to ride a Peloton.
I tried to ride a Peloton once, ended up in the neighbor's koi pond.
Multiplayer's overrated anyway. I just want to throw shells at people in Mario Kart.
Slide 7, closing argument. PlayStation 5 is the elite gaming machine, the next step in human technological evolution, and the only system worthy of carrying the burden and the glory of the presidential game. Choose chaos if you must, but know deep down in your reptilian hindbrain that anything else is settling for mediocrity.
Congratulations, Barack. You just wrote a college essay that nobody's grading.
I feel inspired and confused, which is basically how I felt every day from 1973 to now.
I'm ready to fight a moose.
I'm ready to mute Grandpa Trump the second he breathes wrong.
Jealousy. Sad.
And that, my fellow disaster artists, concludes my glorious, heroic, painfully underappreciated PowerPoint. You're welcome.
I give it a C-, mostly because I stayed awake the whole time.
I give it a gold star and a hug coupon.
I give it a participation ribbon and a fire extinguisher in case Michelle finds you.
I give it a confused thumbs up.
Moving on. Next victim. George, it's your turn. God help us all.
All right, everybody simmer down, sit your butts back down in your gamer chairs or your thrift store beanbags or wherever you are, because it's my time now, it's my moment to shine. It's my big, beautiful Texas-sized brain's turn to bring glory to this presidential gaming brainstorm, and I promise you, it's gonna be a little bit messy, a little bit loud, a little bit confusing, kind of like trying to ride a bull through a Walmart parking lot. But you know what? That's what makes it authentic.
You had hours to prepare, and you still sound like you're about to read the back of a Lunchable box.
Brace yourselves, this man's about to freestyle a tech presentation using napkins and pure hope.
Hope is important. Sometimes it's all that stands between you and buying 30 packs of Oreos by mistake.
Now listen, I might not have a fancy PowerPoint presentation or a throne made out of vending machines or whatever Barack's wife is threatening him with today, but what I do have, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever else is trapped on this call, is something far more powerful than a slideshow. I have heart, I have soul, and more importantly, I have this. Behold, my secret weapon.
What the hell is that? Is that a crayon drawing?
No way, no way. Please tell me you're not serious right now, George.
That's art. That's history. That's a presidential artifact. Hang that thing in the Smithsonian next to the Declaration of Independence.
That drawing looks like it was made by a raccoon having a stress-induced seizure.
This, right here, is a Crayola masterpiece I made myself last night while eating a bowl of chili and watching old Looney Tunes reruns. It's a picture of me, yes, yours truly, George W. Bush, high-fiving a GameCube that has arms and legs and sunglasses and a big old American flag in the background, because why not? And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about why the GameCube is the ultimate console, then honestly, I don't know what else will.
I've seen more coherent battle strategies from third graders playing dodgeball.
Honestly, This is already better than half the State of the Unions I sat through during your presidency.
I like the sunglasses. Shows the GameCube got attitude.
The GameCube, my friends, my colleagues, my professional hecklers, is not just a console. It's a way of life. It's a philosophy. It's a creed. It's a lifestyle choice. It's the embodiment of freedom. And if you don't understand that, then you might as well pack up your Joy-Cons and your futuristic toaster ovens and go home.
You're acting like the GameCube fought in World War II.
It practically did. Spiritually, it was there, fighting for liberty, one awkward lunchbox-shaped form factor at a time.
Your console looks like something you use to smuggle Lunchables across state lines.
And that, Donald, is exactly what makes it beautiful. It's durable, it's portable, it's stylish in a weird middle school bully kind of way. It's like if your little cousin tried to build a spaceship and accidentally invented greatness.
You are actively making me dumber with every word you say, George. And I'm already surrounded by enough secondhand brain cell damage here.
Now let's talk about the games, the sacred library, the blessed vault of experiences that the GameCube bestowed upon humanity. We had Super Smash Bros. Melee, the single greatest fighting game known to man, a game so good it's still being played today by people who haven't done laundry since 2006.
I entered a Smash tournament once. Lost to a kid dressed like a Pikachu. He called me Grandpa and stole my wallet.
Should have built a wall between you and that kid, Joe.
We had Mario Kart Double Dash, 2 racers, 1 kart, pure chaos, pure carnage. It was revolutionary. It was bold. It was the ultimate test of friendship. Or if you played like me, the ultimate test of how fast you could lose all your friends after hitting them with a giant banana.
Double Dash gave me PTSD, thanks for the flashbacks.
We had Metroid Prime, pure atmospheric perfection. A game so pretty it made me cry into my bowl of Fruit Loops one morning when I realized how empty my soul was compared to the vastness of space.
You're getting weirdly emotional about games nobody under 20 even remembers.
And let's not forget the hardware itself. The blessed design, the blessed purple hue that screamed, "I'm quirky and I'm proud." The blessed carrying handle on the back so you could take your GameCube with you to a sleepover, a dentist appointment, a summit meeting, or a congressional hearing. Truly the Swiss Army knife of gaming.
Yeah, nothing screams presidential gravitas like lugging around a purple lunchbox full of Pikmin.
I carried my Game & Watch everywhere too, mostly in my sock, sometimes in the dog bowl by accident.
The GameCube was simple, honest, strong, like a cowboy hat made of dreams and slightly melting plastic.
You're selling this like you're narrating a Ken Burns documentary about failed inventions.
No cloud saves, no microtransactions, no predatory monetization schemes, just pure gaming, pure soul, pure wild American energy, bottled up into a screaming, handle-equipped box of happiness and arthritis-inducing controller grips.
You're just describing being confused by menus at this point.
I'm describing the truth, Kai, the cold, beautiful, undeniable truth that the GameCube is the hill I will gladly die on.
You'll be alone on that hill, George, with your crayons.
I'll join him if there's pudding.
And finally, my last best reason, my closing argument, my final missile in this barrage of excellence. I drew this GameCube in crayon because I believe in it, because I love it, because the world needs at least one thing built with heart and not just silicon and focus groups. And if you can't see that, then I pity you. I pity your cold silicon hearts.
I pity us all for having to sit through that fever dream, but I respect the commitment.
I'm giving you bonus points for pure insanity.
I'm giving you an award for most likely to think a GameCube can file its own taxes.
I'm giving him a hug coupon and a coupon for 10 free tacos.
Thank you. Thank you all. I accept your applause, your laughter, your tears, and your inevitable regret when you realize you were wrong all along, and the GameCube was the hero America needed.
All right, next tragedy up. Joe, you're on deck.
Prepare for a dissertation on why penguins should be allowed to vote.
I already started it. All right, everybody. And by everybody, I mean the few of you still clinging to your sanity by a thread, and the rest of you who have already given up and are mentally checking out like it's the end of a Black Friday sale at the world's saddest mall. It's finally my turn, the last turn, the grand finale, the cherry on top of this presidential banana split. And I'm telling you right now, history will remember this day. History will carve this moment into Mount Rushmore with a side of mashed potato. Because today, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., former president of these great United States, will choose the console that defines a generation, defines a people, defines the dreams of every man, woman, and half-awake raccoon in this country.
Oh, Christ, he's already lost the plot. He's already halfway into a Norman Rockwell painting made of pudding and broken promises. What were you inhaling before the podcast this time, Joe?
Stay calm, everybody. Stay calm. Deep breaths, deep focus. We have trained for this moment. We knew it would come. We just didn't know it would come with this many shoe-related crises.
I'm holding on to my cowboy hat and praying. That's all I can do at this point, folks.
Before I reveal my pick, my ultimate pick, the console that will carry our hopes, dreams, and snack cravings into the future, I want to say officially, loud enough for the heavens and the snack aisles to hear, I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., former president, ice cream enthusiast, breaker of hearts, and drifter of Walmarts, officially, formally, without hesitation, endorse stickier for President of the United States in 2020.
What the actual hell are you saying right now? Why are you endorsing Italian brain rot for president?
Oh my God, Joe. We're trying to pick a game console, not launch a write-in campaign for a guy who sounds like a broken drum set.
He said tung sahur. I swear to God, I thought I hallucinated it.
I don't even know what planet we're on anymore.
You senile push pop, we're picking a system, not handing out endorsements to cartoon characters.
Tung sahur, good guy, solid dude, fought a tornado with his bare hands in one, knows how to make a damn fine pot of stew. Rode a bald eagle to prom.
Joe, focus. Focus, man. You're not giving a fireside chat to a bunch of Looney Tunes in a corn maze. We're here to talk about gaming consoles, remember? Gaming, not mythical stew warriors.
Oh, right. We're talking about beep-boop games, not endorsements. Got a little distracted. Happens when you got 1,000 voices and not enough coffee.
You said you took your pills today, Joe. You said it with pride. You said it with conviction. Was that a hallucination too?
Turns out I didn't actually take them. Turns out I just stared real hard at the bottle for about 6 minutes and then ate a Tic Tac and called it a day.
At this point, Joe's like a walking cautionary tale.
I'm ready to file a missing persons report for Joe's last functioning brain cell.
But no worries. I'm sharp now. I'm laser focused. I'm so sharp, I could cut paper with my mind if I wasn't worried about paper cuts.
Your brain's so sharp it's about as lethal as a rubber knife at a birthday party, Joe.
Anyway, my pick, my beautiful pick, my magnificent contribution to this hallowed project, the console that will carry the soul of America into the digital frontier, is, hold on, let me get my notes.
Here we go. Here comes the napkin shoe retrieval. Somebody get the bleach.
Pulling it out of my shoe. Right here, boys and girls and undecided voters.
Dear Lord, please let that not be another moist breakfast napkin from an abandoned Denny's.
This is why cowboys invented saddlebags, to avoid situations like this.
Got it. A little damp. Smells like freedom and foot.
Give me that thing before you give yourself another infection. It says, pick game and watch. Wait, no. Pick ice cream machine. Wait, no. Pick Joe's handwriting degenerates into what looks like spaghetti sauce around this point. Give some to Mario, it may mistake it for food.
I swear, if Joe tries to pitch an ice cream truck simulator again, I'm throwing my laptop into the ocean.
Hold up. I remember now. New pick, solid pick. I choose the Sega Genesis.
You blithering melting crayon, you picked a Sega Genesis? What year do you think it is?
Joe Buddy, Sega Genesis was cool when people thought pagers were futuristic.
Man, that thing's older than my tax evasion strategies.
That's not retro, Joe. That's ancient history.
Blast processing, baby. Fast as a cheetah in a shopping cart. Sonic the Hedgehog taught me everything I know about diplomacy.
You couldn't process a Pop-Tart, Joe.
You want to go, Donnie? I'll blast process you right into next Thursday.
You'd need a 3-day head start and a Vespa just to find Thursday, Joe.
They're lost on a Vespa, they're lost in your own mouth like you.
All right, enough. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but enough with the Vespa metaphors.
Fine, new pick, final pick. I choose the Atari.
Oh, sweet mother of McDonald's, why are you doing this to us, Joseph?
Joe, my man, the Atari is a dust museum with joysticks. It's an antique. It belongs in a glass case next to ancient pottery and fossilized hope.
I tried playing an Atari last year, thought it was broken. Turns out that's just what it feels like.
Picking Atari is like showing up to a gunfight with a flip-flop.
Joe, at this point, I will personally deport you to Mexico, put you on a burro, hand you a poncho, and leave you there with nothing but a scratchy copy of Pac-Man.
Fine, fine, calm down. New pick. The real final pick. I choose the Nintendo 3DS.
Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Did he actually say something reasonable?
Huh, I mean, it's not horrible, it's not brilliant, but it's not horrible.
The 3DS got some horsepower under that tiny hood.
Honestly, I'm impressed. I thought he was gonna say Etch-a-Sketch.
It's the 3DS. Dual screens, portable gaming paradise, street pass, spot pass, multiplayer, on the subway, on the toilet, even while you're running from mall security because you fell asleep in the Brookstone massage chairs.
Where'd you write those notes, Joe? Inside your other shoe?
Actually, yeah, I had it tucked between the tongue and the sole. Tried to eat it first, but figured it was too crunchy.
You were one soggy napkin away from pitching Pong on an Etch-a-Sketch, man.
You might have saved the whole damn podcast, Joe.
I'm giving him a solid B- only because he technically didn't drool on the system.
Not bad for a man whose brain's held together with chewing gum and bad dreams.
Thanks, means a lot. Now, somebody get me a 3D loaded with Mario Kart 7 and 3 cups of chocolate chip ice cream.
All right, after this, we debate the final winner.
Let's settle this like men. And Joe.
I'll see you in the pudding arena.
All right. Everyone zip it, cork it, whatever outdated phrase you need to comprehend basic silence, because after sitting through more emotional damage than a Walmart clearance aisle on Black Friday, and more brain cell destruction than an entire season of reality television where nobody knows how to spell government, it is finally time for me, Kai Trump, the only sane person in this virtual asylum, to make the final, official, undeniable ruling on what console we're using for the greatest, weirdest, most legally questionable presidential video game ever conceived by caffeine-addled former heads of state.
If you don't pick the Switch 2, Kai, I'm telling you right now, history will look back on this moment and weep. Statues will crack, eagles will shed single tears, and somewhere in a deserted Burger King, Ben Shapiro will dramatically remove his tiny glasses and whisper, "Mistake."
And if she does pick the Switch 2, every Walmart in America will simultaneously explode from the sheer force of collective mediocrity, and I'll be forced to live stream my resignation from civilization while Joe eats an HDMI cable live on C-SPAN.
No pressure, Kai, but I will personally call the ghost of Ronald Reagan and have him haunt you forever if you don't pick something beautiful, strong, durable, and preferably shaped like a slightly dented lunchbox.
Pick whatever you want, kiddo. But just know that no matter what you choose, I'm still going to think it's a chocolate fountain, and I'm going to ask if I can take a swimming in it.
After careful deliberation, rigorous mental wrestling with the few surviving brain cells I have left after being trapped here with you 4 bozos for what feels like 3 presidential terms, and about 6 minutes of violently Googling, can stress cause permanent DNA damage? I have decided that the console we will be building our game on, the system that will carry your busted dreams into the chaotic void, is the Nintendo 3DS.
What? What kind of disgusting, fraudulent, rigged election nonsense is this? Fuck you, Kai.
God, I feel hope for humanity for the first time in years.
I didn't know it was possible to be simultaneously confused, proud, and in desperate need of barbecue ribs.
America wins again. Give me liberty, give me street pass, or give me death, baby.
It's portable, it's iconic, it's not covered in suspicious crayon residue or whatever other cursed objects Grandpa Bush has been hoarding. And most importantly, it doesn't involve Grandpa Trump trying to sell me a limited edition Switch that screams, "You're fired," every time you boot it up.
Tremendous missed marketing opportunity, by the way. Sad.
The 3DS is portable enough for Joe to lose it twice before remembering he left it in the fridge next to the pickles.
Good call, Kai. That machine's tougher than my old ranch truck, and it smells better, too.
I once found my 3DS in my sock drawer. Only took me 2 years. Thought it was a Pop-Tart for a while.
Now that we've gotten that settled and Grandpa Trump hasn't gone full DEFCON 1 rage mode yet, it's time for the next phase. The real chaos, the moment that's gonna make this whole thing explode harder than a 2007 YouTube compilation of kids falling off trampolines.
Explosions are my specialty. Beautiful, powerful, awe-inspiring explosions. I caused an economic explosion once, you might remember it. It was called the Dow Jones going burr.
Please, Donald, you cause explosions the way microwaves cause world peace. Poorly, and with a lot of collateral damage.
I once caused an explosion by microwaving a can of baked beans. Still banned from that gas station.
Voted once, inside my heart, when I saw the first talking golden retriever in a movie.
Focus, dear God, focus. Here's the deal. We are moving into the character creation phase, the phase where you clowns design your own protagonists for the game.
I was born to create protagonists, tremendous ones. Characters so iconic even Walt Disney would rise from the grave just to ask for an autograph.
If Donald makes himself the protagonist, I'm gonna take my laptop, frisbee it out the window, and then personally chase it down just to frisbee it again out of sheer rage.
If my protagonist doesn't end up being part man, part barbecue sauce, part American bald eagle, then I have failed my ancestors.
You each pick one. Could be anyone, could be anything. Could be a human, could be an object, could be the fever dream you had after eating expired lasagna at a gas station. Just make it make enough sense that I don't question why I chose to moderate this presidential mental asylum.
Done. Easy. First choice. No hesitation. My protagonist is me, Donald J. Trump. Bigger, better, stronger, smarter, more handsome, faster, wiser. My fighting style will be a combination of suing people, power walking away from subpoenas, and slapping people with golden stakes.
Of course you picked yourself, Narcissus called. He wants his lake back.
You're just mad because your protagonist's power is apologizing on Twitter and reading Netflix documentaries.
I pick, wait for it, drum roll please, a human ice cream cone.
You're joking.
Explain it before my sanity legally files for divorce.
Picture it. Arms made of waffle cone, legs made of sweet, sweet chocolate fudge. Top is a triple scoop swirl of American dreams and creamy ambition. He's fast because he melts in the sun. He's tricky because nobody wants to punch ice cream. He wins with pure, unadulterated deliciousness.
It's so stupid, it's genius.
I'd vote for him over half of Congress.
Moving on before my brain explodes. Barack, what horrifying brainchild are you adding to this digital gladiator arena?
Simple, elegant, deadly. I'm choosing Sydney Sweeney, my big booba goddess.
You creep! Keep that to yourself.
Explain it before HR calls me.
Sydney Sweeney, agile. Emotional depth of a Shakespearean drama queen crossed with a caffeine-fueled porcupine. Can dodge emotional responsibility like Joe dodges questions about Delaware.
Barack's out here simping while the rest of us are trying to win a tournament.
I'm not judging, but I'm judging.
I support women's rights and their lefts and their diagonals.
Last contestant, George, hit me with it.
Easy, obvious, no contest. Chuck Norris.
You're still stuck in 2007 memes, George.
But honestly, that's still a strong pick.
Chuck Norris once sneezed and created 3 new states.
All right, let's review this disaster lineup. Trump picked, Joe picked, human ice cream cone. Barack picked, Sydney Sweeney. Bush picked, Chuck Norris.
Scoopy Joe for life.
Prepare to lose to the greatest human specimen in recorded history.
Prepare to get clapped by a blonde actress in a well-placed guilt trip.
Prepare to be roundhouse kicked into a different franchise.
First match, first battle royale, first descent into madness, Donald Trump versus Barack Obama.
You're about to get trumped so hard you'll wish you stayed in Canada. Before the annexation, obviously.
You're about to get handled so hard even your toupee's gonna file for workers' comp.
This is going to be bloodier than Thanksgiving dinner at a vegan biker gang reunion.
I brought snacks. They're imaginary, but they're supportive.
You know what? I've been sitting here listening to all this bureaucratic mumbo jumbo about brackets and fair fights and one-on-one rounds and slow little matches. Like this is some kind of boring chess club for tax accountants. And I gotta tell you, I'm reaching the absolute limit of how much of this regulated slowpoke democracy I can tolerate. Because deep down in my red-blooded, barbecue sauce-soaked American soul, I don't want to wait my turn and tap gloves and play nice like some intern named Chad who still says epic fail unironically. No, sir. No, ma'am. I want chaos. I want carnage. I want old-school Texas-style brawling, and I want it now.
Of course, the guy who almost choked on a pretzel live on TV is the first one to start talking about Texas death matches like he's starring in a Red Dead Redemption fan film made for $5 and a case of expired Dr. Pepper.
George, this is not WrestleMania. This is supposed to be a tournament. Rules, structure, organization, sanity. You know, all the stuff you personally left behind somewhere around 2003.
I like pretzels. They're little salty hugs.
I don't care if it's a tournament, a square dance, or a Sunday sermon. I'm declaring, right here, right now, by the authority vested in me by the chaotic spirit of barbecue pits and monster truck rallies across this fine land, that I, George Walker Bush, will not just fight one opponent. No, sir, no. I will take on two of the biggest egos in this call, two of the biggest loudmouths since they put a megaphone next to a popcorn machine. I'm calling out Barack Netflix and Cry Obama and Donald Orange Julius Caesar Trump at the same time.
You want to fight me and Obama at the same time, you spicy Texas chicken nugget?
You sure your spine can take that, George? You barely survived that GameCube presentation without a nap and a Capri Sun?
I'm just going to be over here melting quietly. Don't mind me. Melting's what Scoopy Joe does best.
And don't even get me started on you, Joe. You know as well as I do that your human ice cream cone has the shelf life of a popsicle in a bonfire. The second you step outside on a sunny day, Scoopy Joe's going to turn into a sad little puddle of dreams and sadness and melted chocolate dripping down onto the sidewalk of failure.
At least Scoopy Joe dies doing what he loves, being delicious.
Scoopy Joe's gonna melt into a puddle faster than Hunter Biden deleting his browsing history.
This went off the rails faster than Joe trying to explain the internet to a group of teenagers.
All right. Since apparently I'm not dealing with rational adults, but rather a group of semi-sentient circus monkeys hopped up on expired Go-Gurt and constitutional ego trips, here's the new plan. You want chaos? You want anarchy? Fine. I'll give you a sandbox the size of Texas to destroy. From this point forward, there are no more stupid brackets, no more boring one-on-one fights like we're in a sad high school fencing club. You all debate, you all argue, you all roast each other into oblivion. You fight with words, with insults, with character sales pitches so insane and over the top that I feel like I'm watching Shark Tank, hosted by 3 raccoons and a half-melted Pez dispenser. When you're done, when I decide I've heard enough and the surviving brain cells are holding their final desperate conference call, I will pick the best protagonist, and we will finally, mercifully, gloriously move the hell on.
Best news I've heard all day. Time to verbally body slam some clowns into the pavement.
Bring it on, Donnie. I'm about to hand you your own spray tan in a jar labeled Return to Sender.
I'm lubing up my verbal cowboy boots because I'm about to stomp 2 egos flat enough to use as coasters.
Scoopy Joe doesn't fight with fists, he fights with dream.
Listen here, listen good, and listen with the respect reserved for the greatest man to ever touch a console or a golf club, because my protagonist, me, Donald J. Trump, is the only choice that even makes a tiny ounce of sense, because nobody, and I mean nobody, is gonna sell more copies, draw more clicks, generate more memes, inspire more glorious merchandise than the Trump brand locked inside a beautiful, gorgeous, beautiful again 3DS cartridge.
Donald, your protagonist is the video game equivalent of getting stuck in line at the DMV behind a guy arguing about expired coupons.
Your protagonist is Sydney Sweeney, Barack, a woman whose primary skill set is causing existential dread in hormone-addled teenagers binge-watching HBO.
At least my pick can actually dodge incoming danger, unlike your pick who's gonna slip on his own ego and fracture an ankle mid-battle.
And speaking of egos the size of Nebraska, let's talk about how both of you would get your asses handed to you by my pick, Chuck Norris, the human wrecking ball, the thunderstorm in cowboy boots, the fist fight given form, the man who can roundhouse kick a hurricane into next week.
Chuck Norris would 1-inch punch your brand into bankruptcy, Donald, and he'd do it without spilling his coffee.
Scoopy Joe would just sit there melting. But you know what? You know what? Scoopy Joe wins in the long run, baby, because nobody punches ice cream. You punch ice cream, you're a monster. You punch ice cream, you lose friends. You punch ice cream, and you lose America's heart.
Scoopy Joe's got less survival time than my chili dogs at a family barbecue.
He's got less stamina than Trump's diet plan.
Jesus, I'm gonna need earplugs and therapy after this.
Listen up. I, Donald J. Trump, protagonist of the millennium, will dominate this tournament through sheer charisma, sheer willpower, and a genetically blessed ability to look fantastic, even in hand-drawn 3DS pixel art.
Donald would rage quit halfway through the tutorial when he realizes you can't sue the game designers for emotional distress.
Sydney Sweeney's going to be out here dodging attacks, landing critical hits, and emotionally manipulating your sorry butts into surrender with one monologue about childhood trauma.
And Chuck Norris is going to be moving in slow-mo like an 80s infomercial.
Scoopy Joe doesn't fight with hate. He fights with sprinkles and heart and maybe some rainbow sherbet.
All right. I think I've heard enough yelling to last me into the next 7 centuries. I'm picking a winner.
It better be me, Kai. History demands it.
Pick wisely, Kai. Pick with dignity.
Pick Chuck Norris or pick sadness.
Pick ice cream. Pick love. Pick Scoopy Joe.
Better a slow roundhouse than a fast meltdown?
God help me. All right, everybody, seriously, before my brain leaks out of my ears and turns into a sad little puddle on the floor next to the last shred of my patience, let me speak, let me lay down the law, because after surviving what can only be described as the psychological equivalent of being locked in a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit with 4 malfunctioning animatronics who think arguing louder means winning, I have finally, mercifully, blessedly come to a decision about who wins the protagonist battle. And if you so much as breathe wrong before I finish, I swear I will personally eject you from this call so fast you'll leave a presidential-shaped dent in the digital atmosphere.
The only reasonable choice, Kai, the only logical choice, the only historically significant choice, the only choice that aligns with freedom, democracy, winning, and absolutely tremendous ratings is me, the human golden ticket, the people's champion, the orange beacon of unstoppable masculinity known worldwide as Donald J. Trump. And if you pick anybody else, you're basically writing an apology letter to America itself.
Or, hear me out, Kai. Instead of choosing the human embodiment of a screaming Yelp review at a Burger King drive-thru, you could choose a real character, a multi-dimensional character, a character who could bring nuance, drama, comedy, tears, and triumph, a character who can not only win battles but win hearts, like, I don't know, Sydney Sweeney, the queen of teenage angst and accidental emotional damage.
Or you could pick Chuck Norris, Kai. Because honestly, let's be real. You know it deep down. We all know it deep down. The American people know it. The ghosts of every bald eagle who ever saluted the flag know it, that Chuck Norris is not just a man, not just a fighter, not just a meme, but a living, breathing, fist-powered hurricane wearing denim jeans and justice.
You could pick the true American hero, the true icon, the true embodiment of everything good and sticky and joyful about this country, a human ice cream cone named Scoopy Joe, a noble soul who melts not just in the sun, but also in the hearts of all good people who believe in chocolate chip.
Enough! I am powering through this headache and this noise pollution with the strength of 10,000 overworked daycare employees on free cookie day. Because no matter how many emotional filibusters you throw at me, no matter how many verbal pipe bombs you toss into the chat, I have made my decision based on pure unfiltered presidential game logic, pure cold-hearted meme science, pure ruthless entertainment value analysis, and the winner is Scoopy Joe.
This is the biggest scam since people tried to say the McFlurry machine is always broken because of maintenance.
No. I refuse to live in a timeline where ice cream melt boy is our last hope.
I'm going to call Texas itself and ask for a statewide secession from this entire reality.
That Scoopy Joe, baby, melt with honor, melt with pride, melt with patriotism.
I demand a forensic audit of this decision immediately. Full recount, full investigation, full congressional hearing.
I demand a 5-part Netflix documentary called How Democracy Died in a Puddle of Rocky Road.
I demand a cowboy duel at dawn with honor, pistols, and at least 2 witnesses and a judge who isn't eating nachos during proceedings.
I demand 3 sprinkle shakes, a golden trophy, and a national day of celebration where everybody eats ice cream and watches me melt into history.
Everyone shut up before I turn this whole podcast into a Bratz game.
Sad, fake scoopery.
Shameful.
I've seen state fairs with more fairness than this.
Enough. No more crying. No more sobbing into your gold-plated tissue boxes, Donald. No more wishing on broken teleprompters, Barrack. No more cowboy yodeling in protest, George. No more ice cream songs, Joe.
Simple, easy, obvious, RPG, epic quests, massive adventures, huge plots, tremendous battles where I heroically build resorts on Mars while fighting evil taxes and saving blonde maidens named Liberty.
Absolutely not. Action-adventure, Kai, tight gameplay, narrative complexity, deep moral choices, maybe throw in a stealth mechanic or two so I can sneak past Donald's fanboys while throwing subpoenas like ninja stars.
You're both wronger than a three-legged horse in a dance contest. Party game. Big, bold, chaotic, no thinking required. Just slap buttons like you're chasing a runaway pig at the county fair.
I choose a cooking simulator.
What the actual hell is wrong with you?
Oh, come on, Joe. Even by your standards, this is a lot. This is coming from the guy who poisons customers in every Papa's game.
He picked a cooking game. He picked a damn cooking game. This motherfucker.
Joseph, Robinette, Biden. Explain it before my brain unplugs itself and walks away forever.
Picture this, Kai. Picture it real vivid. Scoopy Joe working a kitchen, melting, racing against time, gathering sprinkles like lost dreams, whipped cream flamethrowers, hot fudge rivers of destiny, chocolate chips falling from the sky like the blessings of the ice cream gods.
You want the American people to play Hell's Kitchen but for Dairy Queen rejects?
You want our presidential legacy to be an overcooked soft-serve apocalypse simulator?
Honestly, I kind of want to play that.
New rule. New, sacred, unbreakable, eternal rule that will be enforced by lightning bolts and sarcasm if necessary. You will vote. You will pick a genre suggested by another president. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot vote for your own genre. You will not scream over me. You will not cheat. You will not bribe me with coupons, commemorative plates, or lifetime supplies of Trump steaks.
I already prepared my acceptance speech, you heartless tyrant.
I already started writing fan fiction about my genre, Kai.
No vote now, or I am putting all of you into a horror farming simulator where the crops scream when you harvest them.
Fine, but if I get stuck making salads instead of deals, I'm suing.
Fine. But if my character can't smash a piñata with dynamite, I want a written apology signed by the ghost of Abe Lincoln.
Fine, but if there's no DLC where Scoopy Joe opens a diner, I'm telling Santa.
Fine. But if my character has to cook burgers while Donald builds golden statues of himself, I'm moving to Canada unless Donald annexes it.
All right, before any of you go feral again, before anyone tries to throw a golden stake at their webcam or start a revolution over video game genres, let me remind all four of you, and I'm saying this very slowly so that even Joe's leftover Tic Tac brain cell can follow. This is a Nintendo 3DS game, not a PlayStation 27, not a VR theme park, not a dystopian fever dream you scribbled on a napkin after too many Red Bulls, but a 3DS game, and that matters because there are limits to what the poor little hardware can actually handle without catching fire and calling for help.
Limits are for losers. I break limits, I demolish limits, I rebuild limits bigger and classier, and then break those too.
You break limits the way toddlers break plates, Donald. Loudly, unnecessarily, and with a lot of crying afterward.
You boys keep talking about limits. Meanwhile, I'm over here seeing if I can load barbecue sauce textures onto the GameCube's memory card.
I loaded pudding into my sock once. It ended badly.
Also, and this is very important, Joe, listen to me, I am putting this on record before it comes up in whatever fever dream you're cooking in your head. You do not have a Scoopy Joe body pillow. You do not need one. You will not be ordering one. You will not be asking Etsy vendors for commissions.
Oh, shucks.
Sad.
Relieved?
Now, your options, and listen carefully because I'm not repeating myself again unless it's at your sentencing hearing. The genre pitches are as follows: Barack's action-adventure game, Joe's cooking simulator fever dream, Donald's RPG vanity project, and Bush's chaotic party game barbecue explosion.
Obviously mine's the best, so just crown me now, roll the credits, and let's move on to the merch deals.
Or, wild thought, we could pick a genre that doesn't require players to read your Twitter drafts as side quests.
Or, wilder thought, we pick something that doesn't melt our brains like Joe's cooking game probably would after 5 minutes.
Cooking sin is patriotic. Scoopy Joe flipping burgers for justice.
Or, and y'all ain't ready for this brilliance, we make it a party game. Mini games out the wazoo. Chaos everywhere. You got Scoopy Joe participating in hot fudge slip and slide races, sprinkle collecting marathons, extreme Sunday building competitions, head-to-head chocolate sauce duels, no plot, no tears, no brain cells required, just pure, unfiltered American family fun wrapped in a sticky, melty package of colorful madness.
First of all, let me be very clear, crystal clear. Clear as the windows I don't wash because I have people for that. The only logical genre for a project as massive, as historic, as utterly earth-shattering as Scoopy Joe, the game TM, is an RPG. A big, sprawling, beautiful RPG with side quests where you recruit toppings like sprinkles and hot fudge as party members, giant bosses made of kale trying to destroy ice cream culture, and massive open-world maps where you can build golden ice cream empires, defeat evil gym trainers who hate joy, and ultimately win by eating, winning, and suing anyone who dares doubt your glory. Huge, massive, legendary.
Or, hear me out, we go with action-adventure, tight, focused, slick, intense platforming sections where Scoopy Joe has to outrun the melting sun, stealth missions where you sneak past health inspectors trying to ban sugary desserts, emotionally devastating narrative choices like save the sprinkles or rescue the cherry on top, thrilling boss fights with broccoli monsters and diet soda overlords. It's fast-paced, it's dramatic, and it's perfect for a handheld like the 3DS, where attention spans last about as long as Joe's memory on a windy Tuesday.
Or, and this is going to blow your collective minds into a million tiny patriotic fireworks, we do a cooking simulator. Think about it. Scoopy Joe opening up his own ice cream truck empire, traveling across the country, dishing out frozen dreams to neighborhoods, dodging health inspectors, dealing with jealous popsicle mafias, and fending off rival gelato gangs. This is while you are creating the ultimate American culinary revolution, all while melting slowly but bravely in the summer heat. Sprinkle by sprinkle, we rebuild the dream.
Joe, I lost brain cells listening to that.
I found a secondhand embarrassment I didn't know I had.
I kind of want to play it, but only if I can throw chili at the customers.
All right, arguments made. Some stronger than others, some filled with sprinkles and self-delusion. Now it's voting time. You must vote for someone else's genre. No self-love, no coups, no bribing Ben Shapiro to stuff the ballot box. Everyone cast your votes and don't vote for your own genre.
Fine. If I must, I'll pick party game. At least if I'm getting ripped off, I'll do it while throwing pies at people.
I'm voting party game too, because honestly, after today, all I want is pure dumb chaos and minimal thinking.
I vote action adventure. I want to see Scoopy Joe doing somersaults and throwing sprinkle grenades.
I vote party game. Scoopy Joe slipping and sliding in hot fudge is the future of democracy.
Congratulations, idiots. Party game wins. This is your legacy now. Melting and mini games. God help us all. Listen up, listen real close, because I am about 30 seconds away from turning off this call, moving to a small cabin in the mountains, raising goats that don't scream at me, and forgetting that today ever happened. So before anyone starts frothing at the mouth and challenging each other to duels over waffle cone rights, let me lay it out plain. We need to add more characters. Yes, more. Because somehow Scoopy Joe alone cannot carry this frozen fever dream to victory without a little backup.
Finally, some intelligent leadership from somebody on this call, because honestly, Kai, if it were left up to Barack over there, we'd have a roster made up entirely of community college professors and yoga instructors, and if it were left up to Joe, we'd be playing as different flavors of pudding that scream when you poke them.
Coming from the man who literally picked himself twice already like he's drafting a fantasy football team, but the only team member allowed is Donald Trump, in increasingly more photoshopped muscles.
I'm just happy we're not arguing about who gets to be the main character anymore. Because frankly, arguing with you guys is like trying to convince a hurricane to take a nap.
I once tried to nap inside a hurricane. Woke up 3 states over and had a new driver's license, pal.
3 characters each. No competition this time, no bribery, no Trump steaks mailed to my door, no Biden trying to pay me in old coupons for free bowling night at a 1982 skating rink.
My picks? Easy. Like taking candy from a baby, but the candy is the economy and the baby is called common sense. Number 1, myself. Again. A younger, stronger, better, shinier version, maybe with flames painted on my sleeves and a solid gold hat. Number 2, Kid Rock, because nothing says true American chaos energy like a man who looks like he fell face first into a Bass Pro shop and never came out. Number 3, my beautiful genius-level girlfriend, Miu Iruma, who, and I cannot stress this enough, would absolutely build a nuclear ice cream cannon and use it without a second thought just to win a minigame.
So basically you picked 3 walking midlife crises and expected us to be impressed.
Kid Rock's only going to win if the final minigame involves riding a lawn chair into a bonfire.
I'm scared of that Iruma lady. She looks like she knows where my last brain cell went.
Barack, you're next. No stalling, no inspirational speeches, no drone strikes.
Keeping it clean, keeping it deadly. First pick, Sydney Sweeney, because every game needs a secret weapon who's smiling sweetly while emotionally devastating you in every cutscene. Second pick, Iron Man, because quite frankly, there's no situation that can't be improved by weaponized sarcasm and billion-dollar lasers. Third pick, Spider-Man, because he's the only one fast enough to dodge the sheer chaos Donald's team is about to unleash and still have time to make quips about it before throwing a pie into Scoopy Joe's face.
Pathetic, weak. Fictional nerds won't save you, Barack. They'll cry when the chocolate river floods the lobby.
Spider-Man's the one with the shield, right?
That's Captain America, Joe.
Moving right along. Joe, you're up. Try not to summon a mythical squirrel god or anything.
Here we go. Hold on to your ice cream cones, because I'm about to sprinkle some wisdom on you fools. First pick, Santa Claus, the OG bringer of joy, cookies, and highly questionable surveillance practices. Second pick, the Easter Bunny, because if you're going to have Scoopy Joe, you need backup that hops and delivers candy-based devastation with style. Third pick, Kamala Harris, because frankly, she spent 4 years keeping me from accidentally signing executive orders written in crayon, and I figure she deserves a mini game where she can hit people with a legal-sized hammer.
Joe's building the Holiday Avengers.
I just want to see the Easter Bunny trying to drive a chocolate car during a hurricane.
George, bring us home, make it weird. I expect nothing less.
You got it, Kai. First pick, Chuck Norris, because Chuck Norris once sneezed and created a new zip code. Second pick, Paul Walker, fast, furious, and gonna Tokyo drift a milkshake into your face if you cross him. Third pick, my dad, George H.W. Bush, because nobody expects a man in dress socks and loafers to be the deadliest pie thrower in the game.
You're turning this into Fast and Furious Midlife Crisis Edition.
I feel like HW would win by just confusing us until we give up.
Paul Walker once drifted into my dreams and told me to buy more ice cream.
All right, perfect, horrifying, inspiring. The roster is officially locked. Now we need boards, big boards, absurd boards, legendary boards.
White House, but my White House. All gold everything. Velvet carpets, secret elevators, fast food buffets, nuclear button minigame hazards.
Kenya, let's lean into the stupid jokes, Donald. Safari-themed madness, ride an ostrich, get chased by baboons, collect ancient relics like Barack's birth certificate of destiny.
I take full credit for that board idea. It was my brainchild.
Texas, full scale, ranches, barbecue pits, rodeo arenas, stampedes, and the occasional flying pickup truck coming through at 80 miles an hour just because.
Ice cream shop, Scoopy Joe's Home Sweet Home. Chocolate rivers, conveyor belts of toppings, sprinkle avalanches, hot fudge tsunamis, ice cream overload mode.
Trump Tower, Fifth Avenue floor plan, escalators to nowhere, lawsuit traps, golden toilet races.
Your mom's house, giant sandals flying at your head, judgmental glares, deadly chores of doom.
These are so dumb, so perfect, so beautifully dumb, exactly what I hoped for. Now, mini-game ideas, make it worse, make it glorious.
Golden steak flip. Who can flip steaks the highest off a tower without burning their golden hairpiece?
Diplomatic dodgeball. Dodge angry senators and passive-aggressive letters while assembling pieces of the Constitution.
Hot sauce sprint, slip and slide across a barbecue disaster zone and punch nachos out of your way.
No, a sprinkle slide. Collect sprinkles while penguins in waffle cone hats try to trip you up. Winner gets a triple-decker sundae the size of Nebraska.
Oh my god, I'm getting dumber by the second, but I've never been prouder. Now, game title, final decision.
Trump party, scoop or die.
Scoopocalypse. Frozen reckoning.
Lone Star Scooper's Yeehaw Fury.
Scoopy Joe's Meltdown Madness.
Final verdict, Scoopy Joe's Meltdown Madness, because it perfectly captures the spirit of this entire call: loud, sticky, unnecessary, and somehow victorious.
Better than Mario Party, better than Smash Brothers, better than literally every sad little 3DS game that ever dared to exist.
We made something here. Something dangerous, something beautiful, something probably banned in at least 6 states.
I'm proud, I'm scared, I'm hungry. God bless America.
I need ice cream. And a hug. And a nap. But mostly ice cream.
Congratulations, boys. You just made the greatest 3DS party game the world never asked for.
All right. As the undisputed, unchallenged, undefeated MVP of this entire operation and future champion of Scoopy Joe's Meltdown Madness, I'd just like to say that this podcast was tremendous, legendary, historic, bigger than the moon landing, bigger than sliced bread, bigger than Biden's grocery bill at Baskin-Robbins.
I'd like to sincerely apologize to every human ear that had to endure this symphony of screaming, melting, and emotional damage, and remind you that you witnessed the collapse of rational thought in real time, and somehow, history was made.
I just want to say, if you learned anything today, it's that you should never leave a GameCube, a bag of chili, and 4 ex-presidents alone with a podcast mic and a dream.
And I just want to say, God bless Scoopy Joe, God bless ice cream, God bless the Nintendo 3DS, and God bless whatever poor soul ends up trying to program this monstrosity.
Thank you for surviving the Presidential Podcast, Episode 2. Please remember to like, subscribe, and tell your therapist. You're going to need both after this.
Best podcast in history, mark my words.
May God have mercy on our save files.